All right, live look outside. You can see the flashing lights. 6th Avenue here, right outside of Rockefeller Center, one of the most key New York locations in the city, and a place where a lot of people are going to be watching this parade, the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, that millions will watch today live, and security is tighter than ever.
They've been putting up those pedestrian gates for days now at this point. And the NYPD ramping up their efforts after the deadly terror attack on a bike path in downtown Manhattan. Here now to discuss is national security and military analyst Dr. Rebecca Grant. Thank you for joining us, and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
So is New York City and other big cities across the country, but since we're specifically talking about this Thanksgiving Day parade, is New York City ready?
Absolutely, they're ready. But let me give you a little background on why. You know, ISIS has lost so much territory in Iraq and Syria that their strategy now is to try to carry out worldwide attacks. And we've seen them actually in over 20 countries, you know, London and, of course, most recently up in New York. So the #1 counter-terror strategy is to harden the target. That means police presence, the sand trucks that we've heard about, and making it very, very difficult for a would-be terrorist to try to pull off an attack.
Yeah, well, as they get more and more eviscerated in those places, Syria and Iraq, there's a lot of talk that that's what ISIS will become, just online morphing people into their, people to do their dirty work for them in other places, hit the soft targets. You remember 2 summers ago in Nice when the truck plowed through on Bastille Day, killing almost 90 people. That was a big game changer for ISIS, too. And now we've seen reaction to that here in New York, where we barricade the streets to stop the car attack. That seems to be the future for ISIS. That's what they can probably do the best at this point, right?
Well, that's right, Robin. You made a couple good points there. One is the online piece. So they use the internet to try to recruit and control. And then they use the internet also to try to publicize these attacks. So their standard tactics kind of fall into 2 categories. One is the vehicle attacks like we saw in Nice, in Germany, and of course then in New York too. The other one is very different. It's the small scale, typically a knife attack. Of course there was a hatchet attack in Queens in 2014. There was an attack on a mall in Minnesota in 2016. But what they really need is surprise. And surprise is one thing that any would-be ISIS attacker is not going to have in New York today. The New York Police Department is absolutely on top of this, and they've been carrying out enhanced security now for several years for the parade. I think the scariest thing in this parade is going to be the Grinch balloon, but we need to have, but like the New York Police Department says, there's going to be a cop on every street. That's a great way to harden the target and, of course, to provide that vigilance and surveillance so that we can't let this ISIS psychological warfare affect us here on Thanksgiving Day.
Dr. Grant, what can people do themselves to stay protected, and what should they look out for?
2 things. Have a plan. Keep your eyes open. And New York says they'll have a cop on every corner. They're outside your building right now, right? So if you see something, say something. But most of all, carry on. New Yorkers are gritty and resilient. All Americans are gritty and resilient. So the #1 thing is to carry on. Keep your eyes open, of course. Have a plan, but go about your day. Go to the parade. Go to church. Do whatever you're doing on Thanksgiving.
Okay. Dr. Rebecca Grant, thank you.
Yeah, we walked to work today, and I saw a lot of cops out there already canvassing the area and trying to keep us safe. Doctor, thanks so much.
Thank you.